once I say I'm a stripper or whatever, or I was in that industry, it's like the first thing is like, well, you probably can't even read. Like you're like an idiot, or you had like some horrible upbringing or whatever. And
like there's no way you, a woman, maximizing your full, like there's no way that you could come from a good home and still choose to leverage and maximize your full financial potential and still have like a brain.
Yeah. Or that like I can't like do anything else or something. I guess like that's what people are trying to give the perspective. Hi.
Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me here.
Of course. So we're in LA and you came from Florida, right?
Yeah, so I live in Fort Lauderdale, like 30 minutes outside of Miami.
How is that?
I mean, you know, it's kind of where I grew up. So I went to high school there and I went to college there too. And
do you work in Fort Lauderdale?
I do.
Okay, you dance.
Yeah. Shout out my club. I'll shout them out.
Yeah, shout them out.
So I work right now at Vixen's Cabaret.
Okay, how is that?
So I like it there. It's the closest club nearby the Hard Rock. And out there, they just rebuilt the Hard Rock.
So that's like where people...
Yeah, it's like a lot of gamblers and whatever. And also it's pretty close to like downtown Fort Lauderdale.
Okay.
And so that's like the beach and like the touristy area.
Got it. So that's
Fort
like
Lauderdale.
where the attraction... Like...
Yeah, you know, it's not Miami specifically. So there's like bigger clubs out there, 11 or Tootsie's or whatever. But that's where I work. So I have to shout them out, right?
Have you worked in Miami?
I have.
And then you prefer where you work?
In Miami, I only worked in urban clubs, really.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So for me, I'm not really that urban club girly, but like I just like had to for me it's easier for like a gentleman's club, and like where I was hired was just happened to be in Fort Lauderdale, and there are clubs on the border of Miami and Broward County. So I've worked in some of those, but always technically in Broward.
Okay.
Whenever I got fired from one club that was close by to Miami, like right on the border.
What'd you get fired for?
A little
Spill it.
fighting, you know.
Really?
Yeah.
You did not. I don't really get like the fighting demeanor with you, but that's why people try you probably because they think they can. Yeah.
Once you get tried so many times.
And you got fired?
But it wasn't the first time. It wasn't my first fight. Like they gave me like 10 chances. And the thing, no one would assume that. I am an Aries, right? So I do kind of have like a temper sometimes.
Our producer is an Aries too.
Really? Yeah. It's just like sometimes the temper comes out, okay? But it's like someone really would have to try me.
Yeah, but it's
I was
available.
there for a while. Yeah. So and you know, people start and eventually like you just get that one manager. They're like, all right, enough of you.
Yeah.
And I feel like girls get fired from clubs and go right back.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about like to really get fired from something, you gotta like steal, you gotta do some shit to where they're like you're a liability.
Really,
otherwise,
it's like when you piss off the manager so many times. And
yeah, it's personal. Yeah.
Because I've seen girls fight in the club. The manager said, "If you fight, you're gonna get fired. No fighting in this."
Nobody gets fired.
They never get fired. Yeah, so it's all about like just how people are viewing you at that time. And for me, that was like their last straw with my ass. I got fired. So then I found basically Vixen's, and that's where I've been at ever since.
How long have you been there?
So I started there. Now I've been there a while. This is like the longest I've had any job, club or not. Just like 7 years.
Literally, like before I started dancing, my longest job was like 3 months, and I was like, yeah, but like after like 2 years of dancing, I'm like, God damn, like I don't even think that's like
no,
like I have had a job that long. You know?
With that club, I've been there for like 6 years, so 6 or 7 years, something like that. But I took time off whenever I graduated school. So I started working at like one of the biggest law firms in the country. I'm not going to name them though. Okay. Here because is it
corporate law?
It was basically like personal injury, like car accident law. Okay. But I worked in an area of it which was like civil rights and employment law. Mm-hmm. And then that's how I learned more. I heard of dancer lawsuits. So like the first time I heard of that was I got like a random like letter in the mail the lawsuit. I just got this internship, like biggest law firm. I was like so excited. And I get this like packet in the mail saying that,
because
like,
you're in law school,
yeah,
right? Okay.
do you want to sue your employer? Like, you're part of this lawsuit of like suing your employer. And then I look at it and I see the partner, the lawyer who was on the case, and it was the person I work for.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So they actually sent it to my mom's house at the time. Did
you tell them that you like knew?
That's how I kind of got outed the first time. So I'd never said anything. Like, so when with the class action lawsuits, for anyone who's been involved like in a dancer lawsuit, I don't know if you've ever got one like that.
I haven't, but I am involved with the class action against like the Google Play, but for like their apps and stuff.
Oh, okay.
But I know how it works. Like, they give you the notification.
So they send it to you first. So and that's with any class action. They'll send it to you in the mail. If you don't respond, you're just part of it.
Yeah.
But if you do respond, you can either say you want to be like named or you want to like not be part of it. So I did have to send a letter back to my job saying that I don't want to be part of it. And I remember like looking through the computer system and like seeing if they got the mail back, and like it was in the system, and it was. So probably like one of the paralegals saw it, and I was just like, that whole time I was just so nervous. It's the same time I started my blog too. And I was like so nervous that they're going to find out.
Do you think you would have gotten outed if you wouldn't have said anything and they would have just like processed the check and sent it?
I have no idea. That's what I didn't know. I just didn't want to, because I knew that on the class actions that I was working on, I was calling random people for like depositions, declarations, like as part of the case. But like I never was part of a lawsuit, and I was having to tell them like, well, if you don't say that you don't want to be part of it, you're part of it. And they're like, well, I didn't know. I just worked there for like 6 months. I don't know. Like, I'm not in.
Imagine getting outed because you get a notification that you're part of like a stripper lawsuit.
Yeah, that's basically what happened to me, right? But nobody like made a big deal out of it. So I'm sure the paralegal saw it was like my name, but they didn't really have a way to know it was really me. But like, it's because I don't really present myself, like I don't have like some like
that like
huge,
stripper-esque
yeah
vibe.
Like I guess like sometimes, yeah, but not really
when you want to.
Yeah, exactly. But it's not like I'm here with like, you know, huge like fake boobs or something, and like bleach blonde, like whatever people imagine like what is a stripper, right? Even though like everyone looks different in the club, right?
But like that like quintessential like typical like I
was, you know, whenever I started, of course this is like, I danced like in Miami. Everyone has their body done and stuff. But whenever I started, it was kind of like, it made me stand out that I had like a natural body.
Yeah, I think that's how it is now.
Yeah. So with especially like the, you know, older guys, and a lot of them have like typically like more money, right? So for me, it worked. And then I just like never got work done because
you don't need it.
When I was in school. But I do want it.
What do you want?
I think I just want my body done.
A BBL?
Yeah. Because it's just like, it gets annoying. Sometimes people like, I'll be.
But if you weren't dancing, do you think you would want it?
That's why I don't know. That's why I haven't really got it. Because I was like, if I get that now, and I don't know even how long I'm going to keep dancing for, because I just turned 30, right? And there's other stuff I want to do. What if I'm just like, I spend this time and money and potentially like risk my life, right? But like,
I'm off that, no biggie, but that money, no, I'm just kidding.
No, right? Or like even, I don't know, there's so many like risks.
I think if I wouldn't have started dancing so young, I probably would not have gotten, I mean, I've had a few surgeries, but I probably wouldn't have gotten like my breasts done so early. But I mean, I've gotten surgeries and then I'll stop dancing. Like, I've never had a surgery while I was dancing. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
But
you get more critical though of your body.
I think it's like an internal
criticism.
Definitely. So I would still get it with boobs too. Like even when I was young, I always wanted big boobs. All my friends had big boobs and I never had them. And then I started to like how my boobs looked when I got older, but they're not big, right? And then when I started dancing, I seen so many like botched boob jobs. I think because I worked in like these like urban clothes that were like kind of like low end, right?
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
So many botched. I was just like, I'll never get that. Like, I'll go with what I have, because like if I wake up and like I have like, I remember one girl, she was like gorgeous, like beautiful girl with her clothes, she was like gorgeous, and then she had like one nipple up and one nipple down.
And that's like all people take away.
Yeah. Literally.
I literally like my scars. I probably would have had what is considered a botched boob job, but you couldn't tell me shit anyways, so it really didn't matter.
No, it doesn't matter.
I just had scarring. Like,
yeah, no, but scarring is different from like you have like the ripples or like.
Oh, I mean, do people still get the ripples?
I don't know.
I think that's when your bag pops or something.
I think that when I started, now it's like 10 years ago, so things have changed. Now everyone I see with their boobs on looks good, but
yeah, I feel like no one gets really big boobs.
And then I think that people still had left over because some of the girls I worked at, like one of my first clubs was a Rolex in Miami. That's like a.
Oh my gosh, I read about that.
Yeah.
With that baby, what was her name? Baby.
Yeah, that was the girl.
Yeah.
So imagine she was still there at that time, and she'd been dancing since the 90s.
No, but the history, like, of like clubs in the 90s.
Yeah.
Like, imagine, like, even in Atlanta, like, all that shit. Like, I love that era. I think it's so, like...
that is... I mean, in my opinion, it's fire. I love the history stuff, too. Some people are like, who cares? I love it.
Because, like, legit, like, the entire history of the industry is maintained and, like, sustained by, like, our own personal aesthetics.
Yes.
How we want... You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not really conforming to any genre of how we're supposed to look on a societal level. Like, we just, and these are the same aesthetics that like these designers are going and like copying anyways, so I think it's to be appreciated.
Yep. The poster, I don't know if I should say, but
the
like,
what?
yeah, the poster girl, that brand is basically like a ripoff of our dresses.
Oh my gosh, I see those dresses everywhere. I see them like over here in LA, and I'm like, girl, I could go get that shit in a box at like what is it, lace and leather.
Yeah, exactly. It's like that's kind of like our worst outfit. Like nobody wants to really wear dresses. I think I work in like dress clubs, and like nobody really wants. People want to wear bikinis or like the cute. Like,
oh, so you have to wear dresses?
Yeah, my club is dresses. You have to wear.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Nice.
So that's what they do. I don't know if it's just a South Florida thing, but they do it because I don't really see other places.
I think there's a place in LA. Really? Like the places that are like the self-described like the
upscale.
Yeah,
and then so my club doesn't have gowns, but like the sister club has gowns, so they're even like the more upscale version, which is like
meaning they have a steakhouse.
They have a steakhouse. Yeah,
that's about it. So if they wear gowns, that means they serve steak. Yeah, like that's
it's true. And like Rachel's in Palm Beach, same thing.
You know what? Like Treasures had good food though in Las Vegas. Yeah.
I never have you worked in Vegas?
Yes, I have. Oh. That was like the most I made in Vegas. It was like, I think it was like 18,000.
Wow.
20,000 in one night.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was like an older couple. It was fun. No, it was so easy because like
that's lit, of course. What the hell?
Those older couples, like they're so easy because they just want to like they're so used to not doing anything with each other that like if you show him your like boob and he gets excited, the wife is like, we're good, thank you for having us, you know.
Yeah, that's fun. So. It's like very chill. I haven't like, you know, I only been out here to the West Coast like a few times. Like probably only starting like last year.
Okay, so you haven't worked out here?
No.
You should just stay an extra day and work.
You think?
Yeah.
Do I have to become like an employee? Like what is going on?
Oh shit, I forget that maybe it's not even worth it for you.
I have no idea.
It ain't. I don't know. Maybe it's not.
I would do that.
It's not like it used to be where
I
you could
just don't know. I heard, and also San Diego, I heard is like kind of good. They have more clubs or something. I don't know.
I think San Diego's like, you probably would do well in San Diego.
You think so?
Yeah.
I think from what I heard with LA is like, it's different from Miami. Miami is more like feral party vibes. So like I show up to work at 1:00 in the morning.
I could never. That's how Vegas is.
Yeah.
Like they have shifts, especially the Rhino. They have like their specific shifts. And
yeah.
Like,
so yeah, our club has shifts, but they don't care. Like they're just not strict. And like, I guess for some people they are, but for me who's been working there forever, like they don't care. And then, you know, we're out until the club ends at 6. Some clubs end at 8 for just strip clubs. And you have like other clubs like 11, which is a strip club too, that's open all the time. And then you have Space that is open until like, you know, whatever, 10,
11 is open.
Yeah, 11 is a strip club that's open 24 hours.
24 hours.
Space is a regular, like, nightclub. But people are just out, like,
Yeah.
late. So I don't know if LA, I haven't really been here too much.
We're closed by, like, there's, like, an after hours one place.
Yeah.
I think they're open till, like, 4.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Like, 4 is, like, the latest.
My foot is, like, falling asleep. I don't know why. I sit on my hip like
Yeah.
it's not going to fall asleep. Girl, I'm about to... I'm just kidding. Ow! Anyways. Oh, my goodness. Do you ever feel like you have, like, any... So my hip and my knee, just from dancing and doing the same move, the same twirl, the same everything for, like, so many years, I'm like, my knees hurt, my hip hurts.
Knees are bad.
Yeah, I think dancer knee, like, literally dancer knees is not a joke. It's, like, a real thing.
But I actually feel like now that I don't work, like, every single day, when I, like, say between 21 and 24, I work, like, every day.
Oh, yeah, those early 20s when you first start dancing, like, you have, like, that is FOMO. That is, like,
Literally,
legit FOMO.
FOMO.
Like,
it is.
yeah, because, no, I'm about to miss out on no money.
Yeah, no.
Especially if you haven't had money or you don't come from money.
Exactly.
And it's like, when I first started dancing, I was, like, legit living in and out of my car. Like, I was like, I had nothing.
Right.
And
yeah. I mean, the best job I had was what, like $11 an hour. So it was like,
yeah, I was working at LA Fitness.
Yeah. So
how old were you when you started dancing?
So the first time I ever danced, I was 19.
Okay.
And I went one time to this club called Take One in Miami. It's a very, very small club, like very, like, hole in the wall small, but it's kind of like historical a little. It's in Little Haiti. It's, like, in a really harsh neighborhood. But I, like, heard it and all these, like, rap songs. I was like, oh my gosh, so I'm gonna go there and, like, be like some star stripper. Meanwhile, I was so scared.
Wait, did your mom dance?
No.
Okay,
No.
did somebody dance, or, like, somebody that you knew? I feel like, okay, so I followed you forever. So I remember, like, certain things that you posted.
Yeah.
Your mom didn't dance, but your mom married older.
Yeah. Exactly. And I hate to, like, talk about that, like,
sorry,
as if she had, like, a sugar daddy. No, like, she did, like, not to say, like, she had a sugar daddy, because my parents are actually still married after 35 years. But basically, yeah, like, she moved to a foreign country, moved in with my dad, who's, like, 20 years older than her.
What is your mom's background?
Jamaican.
Oh,
okay.
My
parents are from Jamaica, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. And my mom's, like, mixed biracial, like, Black and Indian, but she kind of used the advantage that, like, that is the beauty aesthetic there. Mm-hmm. Like, that's, to be, like, Black and Indian, like, that's, like, the blonde hair, blue eyes of Jamaica, right? So,
well, she chose somebody that she knew would be able to provide for her, her family. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Exactly. Like, I honestly, like, would prefer, like, I'm not out here, if I choose a man, I'm not, looks is not, like, the most important thing.
Yeah, exactly. It's not. And I love my dad,
I have
but
to
in
be
the end of the day, that's
like,
what the relationship was. He knows it. Everyone knows it. So it's just like,
well, I don't think it has to even be transactional if it's like that. Like, if you have a preference, like, for me, I do not have interest in, like, dating a younger man that's still figuring his life out. Like, I kind of want somebody that's like,
even my dad told me, he's like, I don't really want to see you with a young guy. My last boyfriend was younger, even though he had paper, like, he had money.
Even then, if they have money,
it's
like,
kind of worse.
Having money doesn't necessarily mean.
A 23-year-old should not. I'm not going to say it. Everyone works at their own pace and everyone can make money. But when you make money super quickly and you get into, like, the 7-figure range as a young guy, especially, like, the immaturity, you have to have the maturity to go with the money, or else you're...
I think you can sustain it, but I think it's more difficult to have a relationship at that age and have money. I think it's, like, on the girl's aspect, like, it's just maybe not as sustainable for her.
Yeah,
like,
I don't
even
know. It was just crazy. It was just so not cheating or anything, just, like, craziness, like, all around. So
with them,
with my ex. So even my dad tells me, go older. I would rather see you with a 50-year-old than a 25-year-old.
Girl, let me tell you something. These older men are on the bullshit.
Yeah, they'd be on the same.
I don't think they have the same
energy. I don't. After dating a younger guy, first time dating, after Bitcoin and everything popped off, I think that's what I mean. Not like if you work and you have a business and you made $2 million.
Oh, you're talking about fast money.
I'm talking about fast.
Oh,
really fast. Like, if they call stripping fast money, then what is, like, that, like, options trading and Bitcoin and stuff like that's, like, super fast money.
Yeah.
You kind of make money unexpected out of nowhere.
And then it's like, how do you sustain?
And just buy a bunch of drip, buy bottles in the club. Like, that's how.
Like, that's.
Yeah. And I feel like after, I don't know about here, because it was kind of shut down more.
Oh, girl, COVID here was insane because all the people with that PPP money, they were going downtown and they were coming to LA. There was like lines on Rodeo for like Dior. It was like it was just like insane. Like it was
and
like
Florida was the same. So I feel like that era just like
fucked it up.
Yeah, that was the first time I considered, okay, maybe I could date a young guy because it seems like they're spending a lot of bread right now.
But but it's just like just as bad.
Yeah. Probably worse. I'm back to my oldies now.
I feel like there's like, okay, so you can like date and be invested, and then there's qualifications that you look for. Like aside from money, to really date somebody, they have to have they have to be emotionally intellectual, like intelligent to date a dancer, but they have to have like conviction. Like you kind of have to meet somebody that's like stands on their own. Otherwise, they're really gonna like be affected about what other people say.
Exactly.
And think.
That's the thing. As a dancer, it's really hard, and it's hard to kind of, once you see men in that way, how we have to see them for work. For me, it's hard to now try to. I feel like at work,
I don't think they're all the same.
They're not the same, right? But my theory at work is like I have good like relationships with my customers. Some of them I've had my whole time since I was 19 or 21 or whatever to now. Because I was gonna say I did stop the first time I danced. I didn't go back for like a year until I like turned just like 21, and then I really started getting serious with dancing. I have really good relationships with my customers, but you could turn it on and off. You don't have to talk to them all the time. You don't have to live with them. If a guy is nice to you one day and the next time you see him he's not nice, you could get a new customer. You don't have to talk to him in the club.
Have you ever lived with somebody like how long?
Twice. I've lived with 2 different guys.
For how long?
Not long. Like one 6 months and one, it was, on and off for like, I guess like 9 months or something.
I think for me it was like one time for like 2 weeks. I threw him out.
Yeah.
And then like another time for like 6 months, but it
doesn't work.
It wasn't the right.
I have to find the right person.
Yeah, I think it will like seamlessly work.
And I feel like if the next person I live with, I'm not gonna do any like as the other people I basically like split, or it was like my place.
Oh no.
And he just lived there and he like did whatever. But
so he wasn't paying bills?
No, not that he was not paying bills. They're paying but my 2 exes were paying bills. But not all. Because it was technically my place. But then I could kick them out at any point.
No, but they should still be paying.
They should be paying 100%.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Exactly. If they're just living there. It's true.
If they're living there, yeah, because it's like you'd be paying 100% anywhere else. What are you going to go live with another roommate?
Yeah, exactly.
It's
basically a roommate situation. That's why I think I got fed up with it so quickly.
You will. I think if a man's like, for me, because I can provide for myself, so like I'm not like a gifts type of person. Like I want that, of course, but like that's not gonna show me that you care.
Exactly.
Like putting time in is probably gonna do more than like gifts.
Yeah.
But it's just like you have to want to be around.
And that's the thing. Like I was getting such like I feel like large scale gifts. But like then,
and you can't even do this, and we're living together. See, it complicates.
It was like I feel like it's the priorities of people. I mean, there's guys out here. I'm not gonna like say anyone, just probably anyone walking around here in LA, New York, Miami, Vegas. They might have, $100,000 watch on, an AP like 60, 70,000. You're like, wow, like nice. Maybe he got paid. Maybe he got money. And then like, if you really got to know him and you check his bank account, he might have spent all his money on that watch. And I seen another guy, I posted about this, like the guy said he had made his first 100,000 and he spent 80,000 putting it down on a Lambo. And it's just like,
for what?
I just feel like that is
no, but that's like okay, so like but smart men are so sexy. Like a man that would be able to have, sorry, am I screaming? Okay, a man that would be able to have, I'm very passionate about this. A man that would be able to have the self-control to like make more money with it. But that's also a sense of like leading. Like I feel like if you are able to sustain that on your own, you can show me that as well. I can't, like I did the whole like, when I first started dancing, I feel like I had to prove that I was able to provide. But it's like a really young baby stripper mentality. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think I needed to just prove it to myself. But like you start overgiving to men. And
the thing for me, it was like I think the guys that I ever lived with. I don't know how to say this in like a nice way.
Why does it have to be nice?
No.
Are they going to see?
No, I'm just thinking like, okay, so I don't know if it's from where I like come from in South Florida or if it's like that everywhere, but there's something, and I think this happens to a lot of dancers, so I have to say it, but there's something with like the criminal people and dancers like that. I feel like, I don't know if it's just me that I date criminal or people who've been
like the drug dealer stripper.
Yeah. That is a thing, right? Like, or am
definitely.
I just,
No, definitely.
So for me, like, you know, I'm not going to say I've seen my exes do anything or I know what they do, but I just know that they do have convictions, basically. Okay. So that does make everything harder. So even if they're bringing money in, I would give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm like, okay, well, I just
need somebody that ain't gonna get me raided at like 2 a.m.
Exactly. That's scary. Like, I'm like lucky, like none of that crazy stuff has happened to me. So it's like, yeah.
I think like dancers probably feel comfortable dating guys that aren't like the generic or like the, what is it, like the conventional thing. I think you can go one or two ways. Like, you just don't fuck with it. It's hard for me to fuck with like super square, like square. 9 to 5. I don't really deal with attorneys. I'm not into like attorneys. Doctors, okay, but even then they're like a little square for me. Attorneys, I'm just like
really. That's why I was always like that. But now I'm like, you know what? I did graduate law school, so maybe I could get it. And I like went out with an attorney, and I'm liking it. But he owns his firm. Yeah, he owns his firm.
Yeah, the guy that I dated, he was a partner, but I think he was like a newer partner, so it was like that, like still proving. I think a lot of attorneys are still at the aspect where they're trying to prove themselves.
First of all, that is a profession where right now I have a cousin who's a partner, and I'm pretty sure I probably surpass her with the money I make dancing.
And I think
just like. Yeah, it's really hard. It's really hard.
You're really overworked.
Because why do you think that I would graduate and do all that school and then like be like, you know what, I'm just gonna go back and dance? Like, because it's just like when I see now, I'm starting to meet people who are more, they own their firm, they're like the 7-figure range, and then I say, okay, it's worth it. To me, it's worth it for 7 figures, but not for like 100 grand.
But to get there to the 7 figures, like, what are you like, you know?
It's just a change in the mindset. So I think that's what really separates a hustler from a square. Because if you're going to be a square and you're going to graduate school and get a job, usually everyone has to get a job right out to learn stuff. But like if you're going to graduate, get a job, and then try to like work your way up through like a corporate system, you're a square basically. But if you're able to go and start your own firm and take your own cases, because you're going to be making money for the firm you work for as a partner, they're probably making millions. Even like I did a case when I was an intern, okay, and I wasn't getting paid much, right? And that case ended up settling pretrial for like 300 grand. So if I owned my own firm, I would have got whatever, like 30% of that. But instead, I got my regular hourly wage, no bonus. And, you know, the partner I work for maybe got like, you know, 10% of the firm's 30% or something, like even lower, you know?
I think it's what you value. It's a matter of like security over freedom.
Yeah.
For me, I feel like if I was not doing my own thing, I tried. I was managing like Class A commercial property and like embassies. Like I was really like, I think like women like us, if we're going to do it, we're going to do well at whatever we choose to do. But I was doing that, and like, I don't come from like money or anything like that. And like that industry in LA, there was a lot of nepotism. It was like fully
like, and that's a hard thing. People will try to, like even me, like in the club right now, I'm kind of like an old girl when I've been at the same club for a long time, even though I was like on and off. But now if I say my age, I hear girls in the dressing room like, I can't believe she's 30. And
I would never be 30 dancing. That was like literally, I used to stay awake at night and worry about that. And then like my ass is like 32. I'm like, I never made this much money in my life.
Literally all my friends who are older, like they're making way more money than they all say that. After 30, they make more money.
You make more money doing less because you control your energy. It's a finesse. It's a legit finesse. Yeah. Like I probably worked so much more and like talked to so many more people versus like being able, it's wisdom with, you can like almost like see it. you know that like that guy, okay, yeah, he has this watch, whatever, but like, you know what I'm saying? You could just like kind of like,
Yeah. I feel like it's like
a
kind of
stripper
better,
Six
but I
Sense.
think that I was never like that one. As a young dancer, I would never judge anyone. I remember the first dancer I met when I was 19. She was 36. She's like, "Oh my God, my son is 17. Like, I can't believe you're 19." Yeah.
Yeah, and those I feel like where I started, like those dancers that were like older with their kids, like those girls were kind of like running the show.
Exactly. And like, I mean,
But it was day shift.
her face looked young. I mean, yeah, that was like, I guess like day or mid shift.
Yeah, because
but
like night shift. I mean, I remember
But
there
still,
was this manager.
They're the ones with their bodies, and they're the ones who had so much time to put work in.
It's two different
Yeah.
girls. Day shift day shift can be lucrative, but it's like it's an ordeal. Kind of.
Daytime is hard. It's just
It's
like
hard for you. Yeah.
It's like I haven't worked daytime in a long time.
I preferred it just because like I wake up I don't know, like I'm just like an early riser.
But
So,
I did like it. Like I used to work it all the time.
yeah.
It gives you a more normal schedule. I'll say
Yeah,
that.
it's more sustainable. But then you're like getting, I don't know, I was getting drunk kind of early because you're drinking at the club.
12 noon. I'll
Would you
shot
drink
of
like
tequila?
like who does that, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's whatever.
Like I think
cares,
that
honestly?
really has like changed the way that I do things too, because I don't really go out. I'm more like a daytime warrior. Like I'm like, let's go to lunch, let's do this, and then I'm like good by like I'll have, you know, I'm not really like a outing type of person.
You know what? I started getting up during the day. I've worked at night, like late at night now, since probably after COVID, like right after. I started like only showing up to work at midnight. And now I'm trying to go. I live 2 miles from the beach. Like I could walk. I could take like a, you know, exercise, like walk there. And I'm trying to do that like during the day.
It's good for the psyche.
Yeah.
You have to like put an effort to give yourself that like sustainability and that like mental just leaving your house. You have to do it. Like it's a second job, because otherwise it's so easy to isolate yourself.
Because
Like, I'm
otherwise,
such a
I
recluse.
would just like stay in the house all day and then only go out at night to work and maybe wake up like 8 o'clock at night to like get like food or something. And then like I like never see never see the sun.
Okay, I want to talk about your Instagram. I love your Instagram. I like, because I feel like you come from like, I was telling our producer, like you're very well versed. You come from an informative position, and like you're not really one of those people that's like, this is what I think, this is what I know. You kind of put the receipts up and you're like, this is my take on this.
Yeah. So I feel like there was something in me that wanted to just explain more about the industry. And when I went to grad school, which was like law school, you have to do a lot of research and like papers and stuff. So that's when I really learned how to like research things. And that one thing that happened to me was like basically getting outed by like,
You couldn't like, I mean,
yeah, I was just like this
wouldn't
is
they
crazy.
know not to be acting like that? Or like, did they say anything to you? Or like, how
They
did
never
you know
said
they
anything to me.
No.
They
Okay.
never said anything to me, thank God, because I was already nervous. Like I'm entering this new field, like you said. There's nepotism. There's like ways that people view you. I look so young. I'm saying I'm like the old girl at the club, but in like
Where the real world.
we're like
Apparently,
the young.
this is not like 30. People tell me like, "Oh, you're so young." I'm like, "What?" I do not feel young. But
At
I think
all.
it's because of where we're like our environment is too. I hate that.
Yeah.
I see girls like my age and they look so young, and I feel like their vibe is so young. I'm like, fuck. Like maybe I've just done like I'm fucking tired.
We've done a lot of work that most people don't do in their 20s. Most people
Yeah,
are
like,
out like
my whole-
partying or whatever.
Yeah, I think people exactly like my. But the thing is, like, I came from a place where I felt like unless I worked in my 20s, if I didn't work as hard as I did in my 20s and up until this point, I would be working my entire life. And I know, like, I don't want that. I want to have children. As bad as it is, like, I want my children to have that like nepotism advantage.
Exactly.
Because I dealt with that.
Same.
I know how hard it is to like really have to work for whatever you want from nothing. And I don't want that for my kids, you know, but like, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And
now
same
it's
thing.
like-
I don't want my kids to work from nothing either. I want them to have like at least like a better opportunity than what I had, right?
Yeah.
So
And dancing is like, I wouldn't have been able to do it without dancing, which I feel like people are so easy to be like, you know, this and that. She's like this and that. But
me either. Yeah. I wouldn't be able to now at 30 with my education even, right? Look at things a different way and try to like choose how I really want to go about everything. I wouldn't have had the freedom if I never danced. I would just have a bunch of like student debt or something. And like,
when you started dancing, was there like a significant moment that you remember when you were like, I don't think like everybody else anymore, or I don't think like I think differently, like I'm on the outside looking, like you kind of almost have more like like your peripheral vision is like a little wider.
Yeah, probably. I don't know.
I feel like that's how drug dealers probably feel too.
I don't even know. They're thinking anything at this point.
No, but I mean, like, do you have so many, like, you hear about, like, I'm super into these, like, documentaries, and you hear about these people, like, running these, like, multi-million-dollar, like,
their
businesses.
perspective of life has to be way different.
Way warped, right? Because
Yeah,
it's, like,
it is so warped. And then people even say that, like, you're not living in reality.
like, the cocaine
that
cowboys.
is my reality.
Yeah, no, I'm not living in your reality because
Exactly.
this is not reality for you. It's reality for me.
It had to. I think when I went to like law school, and that's when I started having, because I went to college. I went to FIU in Miami, and that is a college where like it's more commuters, and I didn't really have friends there. Wasn't a sorority or whatever. It's a state college, whatever.
Okay.
And then when I went to law school, I actually started becoming friends with people like my age, and I was like, oh, I'm looking at life like way different from these people.
You're really like, do you think it's jaded, or you think you're just a little bit more exposed?
I don't even know.
Or maybe do you get jaded from the exposure?
It's like,
are you happy with that? Like, do you think it's an advantage?
I think it is. I think it's an advantage, but it's just like the hardest thing to talk to people, because I feel like once I say I'm a stripper or whatever, or I was in that industry, it's like the first thing is like, well, you probably can't even read. Like, you're like an idiot, or you had like some horrible upbringing or whatever. And
like, there's no way a woman maximizing your full, like, there's no way that you could come from a good home and still choose to leverage and maximize your full financial potential and still have like a brain.
Yeah.
Like,
or that like I can't like do anything else or something. I guess like that's what people are trying to give the perspective of, right? Like people who I guess want to be vindictive of me if they see me doing something well. So if someone sees me graduate school at the top of my class, that will be like their cue to be like, well, she's a stripper, so like, okay.
You know what? Yeah, no,
like,
it's even like other women that are like not even in like a girl sent someone that I was like talking to a message. Actually, she followed TDR, and she was like, she's a stripper. If you want to have a sugar baby, like totally kind of like running me through the mud.
Because you were dating someone that she liked or what?
She probably liked him, but she was like, well, she's a stripper, like talking shit on me.
No, my ex, the same thing. His ex-girlfriend like messaged his mom like, is this girl a lawyer or is she a stripper? And sends him like a picture of me like in a bikini.
She's
like,
both.
Like literally both.
She's a destroyer.
Like that's not even like in, I don't know. People are weird. I think
like, why do you have to be both? Because you are capable of having sex appeal and being smart.
Yeah,
like,
and it's just like you can do both. There's no reason why you shouldn't be able to. And I think it's just hard when things like you have to worry about getting outed.
Women
and
feel like they have to
judging you.
choose. You feel like you have to choose between being sexy or successful and
that's
smart.
the thing that sucks is like there's nothing internally that you can't do. But then when people are trying to say it like as if like you killed your mother or something, like, oh, she's a stripper, don't hire her.
I had my mom on this podcast. We filmed it, right?
Yeah.
It's gonna come out, and she was like,
that's nice.
when I found out you were a dancer, I was just so mortified that anybody would ask me about you, because I would have to tell them that you were a stripper. I'm like, fuck, my mom's probably like, my daughter's a stripper, like walking around. But it's you carry it.
Yeah.
You really carry it.
Yeah, and that's the same thing I feel like with my parents. I remember one time I was like working and I was making like so much money. And this is like right after COVID. I was like, yes, like
I'm back.
Yeah.
I'm back, bitches.
Exactly. And like I even told my dad, I was like, Dad, guess how much I made this month? Like I think I'm gonna buy a Range Rover. Like,
that's what you choose to do, the drip? Or you're talking all that shit on your ex?
No, because I got stuck in a flood. I need an SUV. And I am a car. Like,
you like cars?
I have 2 cars right now. Literally.
I don't know. I'm not. I fucking hate my car. I have a Tesla.
I love it. I got the Model 3.
Is that what I have? Oh, me too.
You don't like
it?
I like mine. But I feel like in LA you kind of need that because the gas prices are crazy.
Oh, the gas prices. No, I mean, it's a long story, but yeah. I don't think I could like do another car, but
No.
Like I have to have electric.
Yeah.
I actually was looking at the Range Rover, and then like I was like, I want to get the hybrid,
I just wanted like a
hybrid
small one. I mean, anyway, I was telling my dad about this, how much money I was making or whatever, and he's like, "Wow, I'm so proud of you." And then I hear him on the phone talking to his friend. He's like, "Yeah, you know, my daughter, she's unemployed right now." I was like,
you know what? One time I went to the hospital. My dad. Okay, I went to the hospital. I don't know. I was like really sick, and my dad told the doctor, "Oh, you know, I'm there." He's like, "You know, she's a stripper." He told the doctor, like the doctor needed to know that I was a stripper.
Like, no, people don't know what to make of it.
You know, you're like, because I was like, my body was septic, so I was like,
oh no,
it was really bad. So I wasn't like coherent, but I heard him, and he told my mom, well, he needs to know that she's not exactly a functioning member of society.
No, see, that's the thing I hate.
It be your own people, though. It really, it's your own people.
Literally. That's horrible. Like, honestly, I would be so mad at my parents.
Yeah, I mean,
but that's what I think that they're trying to say is like, you're not a functioning member of society.
Meanwhile,
look at our homes, look at our cars, look at
our I see children of dancers.
Oh
like,
my God, they're spoiled.
They're spoiled, and a lot of those kids are going to like Ivy League schools.
Exactly, not spoiled in a bad way, meaning in a good way. Like their bedrooms have like everything or whatever. They just have a nice home life, and like I just feel like, why would you want to get in the way or just demean someone who's trying to provide?
And half these people, your mama was probably a stripper, and you didn't even know.
Or your mom did worse. Your mom was at Freaknik popping it for free. And you want to make fun of stripper.
I don't think there's anything worse than that. Not popping it for free.
Like, no. So with my Instagram, so when I started it, I was going through all that stuff, and I just wanted a way to express like how I feel about the industry, that it really can help people. And I think it's just like sometimes we're just in a bubble of like what we do, and then everyone else is like looking down on us. But if I had like a public way to like, and it's still kind of like only industry people get it, but other people have, you know, some of the people,
it's very valuable if you like actually choose, because a lot of people are just like, they've already decided that they're not going to understand it. But anyone that's capable of being open, I think you create a space where it's like so easy to understand.
Yeah,
it's like blatant.
And I just want to like just explain it, give information, any like laws people don't really like get it or whatever, and how it can affect people.
And you're very thorough. Like, I feel like if I were to ask you something, I'm going to get the correct answer versus like people that just want to talk.
That's the thing that like I learned in school is like, okay, you have to look for the right answer. It's not always what you think is going to be the right answer. Just look through. I'm surprised all the time at the way like laws are written and what it includes and what it doesn't include.
Yeah.
Even the class action thing. Like, who would think if you don't sign up for a lawsuit, you're just in it, right? So like, that's what I try to do, is like explain things as well as possible and give people like a different perspective. Obviously, everyone's time in the industry is going to be different.
Yeah.
But especially for me working independently, like I know other people like, you know, they're paying someone when they work or whatever. Well, that's everyone's choice. At first I was super against that. Then I started learning more about it. I'm like, okay, like I could see why people do that, even though I wouldn't do it, but whatever. And for me, I just wanted to, and I think I've reached a lot of different people who even have like a broader reach and can explain, you know, more.
Yeah.
So
like, even if we repost something of yours, it like the traction of it is like insane because it's so valid, but then it's so relevant as well to like what's going on. And like, I think that you're like a huge resource. I think people, if you don't follow her already, it's Women's Whork. It's pronounced Women's Whork. With like the WHORK. The whore, okay?
That's the type of work, okay?
That's the type of work she's talking about. But I mean, it's so, I think it's, I'm like, when I first started and I like had you, it's just like a good way. It was like a good way to like kind of like reach back. Okay, yeah, this is like the purpose. Like, this is why we're doing it. You know, I think you've done a good job of like always staying focused on like, that's why you're doing it. You know, you see a lot of these pages like kind of come and go.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying. Like, honestly, with the page, it's like how I can really always like get to that next like information, whatever needs to be put out. And just any like women's rights issues too. And I think that it encompasses so much with dancers, because even like we're talking about dating, how people could be like, I mean, there's like very scary relationships that are out there. right? And then it's a lot of it comes from just hate. Like that's why they say it's hard to date a dancer and it's hard to date as one, because you just never know. You can have like the perfect person, and then one day
they get mad at you.
Yeah, one day their cousin's like, oh, I heard you're dating a stripper, and then all of a sudden like they hate you, and it's like, okay,
your pride, ego.
Yeah, and it's theirs, and you know they should really feel blessed to be like dating someone like us, because we're literally like gorgeous for a living, and we're gonna upkeep more. Take care of like money. We're like smart. We're like funny. Like I don't know.
There's so many things. No, but you're more understanding. You're able to be like more caring. You're just more independent. You're not as you're not as concerned as like the general consensus where people are just. After living the way I've lived now and like just like moving around in my way, I don't think it could be like, I don't think I could be happy like with that like even if it's not a 9 to 5, but just like salary or like all that, like.
Yeah, it's really hard.
The way you even think about it, like the way you look when you think about it, you're like, no.
No, it's just horrible. I got like a good salary job, like 6-figure salary job, and it was like so bad. I was just
really?
Like, it is like hard. It was hard to maintain it. And I tried.
Your psyche while you're doing it? Or like
yeah,
what exactly?
It was just like they're like, oh, we think you're like too young to be working here. But I'm like, okay, like my credentials are better than a lot of these people here. And then it was just like a weird environment. Like, I don't know.
Do you think it's because it's corporate, or do you think it was because like corporate law, or like what do you think made it like that?
I mean, that wasn't even like a law firm. That was like a financial company. But
do you think it was because you were like younger?
Yeah. And how I presented myself. And then it's just, which I guess, you know, everyone in there was kind of looked dusty. I'm not gonna lie. I was the only one who like got like a manicure, and I remember like the manager was like, "Oh, well, we need to talk to you about your spending because I heard you spent $150 on a manicure." You were telling one of your coworkers like that's how much you spent. I was like, "How are you gonna tell me that?"
Like, yeah, but I be popping it at night, so it's okay.
Like it's not like a manicure is, and I think it's not even that people don't have that money to spend. It's just like. They just don't even consider to like get a manicure.
Yeah, like
yeah. So it's just like it's just different. So that's what I hope to like get out of that and get into my own thing. Now I'm dating lawyers. I'm trying to like get into the real lawyer mode.
No, but I mean you're doing a really good job, and like I think wherever you choose to go, like hopefully it has some correlation to like this industry.
I will hope so too, because like whatever time that's like something that scares me now. No, I never thought like, oh, I have to stop dancing at a certain age, but I'm like, now I'm really thinking like
what's next?
Yeah, what is next, really?
That I'm going through that like next transition where like, okay, dancing itself, I'm not dancing now. Now it's like the next thing, and it's fucking insane. Like I probably cry a lot because it's like half of your identity. You're like, okay, now
that's
what do I
the thing. It's so in my identity, and then I have to like you have this business and. Like, how do you feel like you're not dancing, but then you have the dancer-based business?
Sometimes, no, but that's part of, like, where, for me, it's, like, that's why I want to allow, like, other dancers to buy in. And, like, that's why I'm forming the owners group, because I don't want to feel, not, for a while, like, I would stop dancing for, like, a year or two, and I would be like, oh, my God, am I a fraud for doing this?
Exactly.
You know? But at the
that's
same time.
That's how I feel, too. If I take up time.
There's a point. There's a method. There's a purpose to it that's, like, TDR is bigger than me. The purpose of it is bigger than me. So whether I'm dancing or not, it's still going to need to happen because like there's still purpose. It's still serving its purpose. Same with your stuff too. You have to like, I think for me, what I'm learning to do is like involve other people that are still active in the industry. It serves a purpose. Like with you too, like let's say you start doing something else that has nothing to do with dancing. Like you can still contribute.
Yeah.
You know, like that page itself has to be maintained.
There's always like someone else that can come. People ask me for advice all the time on like certain things.
I think for me, like opening TDR up to people, like, you know, I felt like there's a point where I was very controlling about like the way I wanted things being done. But when you allow people to come in, it opens the doors for other people to feel comfortable as well, to want to join. It like has to be so much bigger. Like you probably will eventually have to do that as well. Yeah. If you want to sustain. Otherwise, you know.
Yeah. And just figure out what is next, because that is a huge part of like my identity, right?
Definitely.
So well, it's like, who am I if I'm not a stripper? Like,
even honestly. In college, you go to college for 4 years, you graduate, you go to your work. Anything else, like we're dancing for like 5-10 years. Like, come on. And then the industry itself is so isolating. Like you evolve and you kind of like cultivate yourself as a dancer.
Exactly.
So if there was like one thing that you could say that would like leave a lasting impression to like a dancer or a woman watching this for the first time, what would you say?
Okay. So for a dancer,
yeah,
if I could like go back to myself that when I first started, or give anyone advice for starting, make sure you're organizing get like a business bank account, make sure you organize your money and file your taxes the right way. So everything can like fall into place. Like once you're done with like your year or two, you'll be really like set up.
Yeah, I know dancers that are like, they're like, they have their portfolios of like over $500,000, just like chilling.
Exactly. That's how everyone should be. Like after 5 to 10 years, like, you know, you should have like your money invested in whatever.
It's a matter of discipline because there's enough money coming through our accounts.
Exactly.
We have the flexibility. At the end of the day, it comes down to discipline. That's going to determine.
Saving, and for me, that's easy. Whatever. You want drip, get a guy to buy it for you. Like, don't, you know, spend your money on that. Just save it. But everyone says save it, but they never say like put it into an investment account. Like
make your money
do your
work
taxes
for you.
Properly. Like make sure you're showing enough income that when you want to buy your house, you want to invest in property, you can, and not just like you have a bunch of cash in the bank and they're like, well, we can't approve you for a mortgage.
Yeah. Bitch, you've been depositing like $3,000 in once for the past 4 years.
Exactly.
Every Thursday night at 2 a.m. That's you, huh, Celeste? Okay. Well, thank you so much. I had fun. And I'm looking forward to doing it again.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Bye.